And go.
And we're back. Take two.
Right.
So we are today going to talk about the not the most recent card, but the one before that, UFC Fight Night, Vettori versus Holland.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
I suppose you just start off with the first fight on the main card, which was Mike Perry versus Daniel Rodriguez, welterweight.
Yeah.
Do you know your man Rodriguez from before?
I recognize him from something. I can't put my finger on who I seen him fight before.
Yeah, who's the same? I couldn't.
No, I had seen him. I think we'd actually talked about him, but not on a recorded cast.
Okay.
We talked about him beating. If I'm right, we talked about him beating Dwight Grant by KO. That was back in Munez. Edgar back in August 2020. I don't think we talked about it on the podcast.
Okay, yeah.
He had popped up and he lost the decision to Nicholas Dalby at 255, which was only November gone.
Yeah.
So the name was there. We mightn't have talked about it in depth on a call, but he's around the UFC a while. I mean, he had a 3-fight win streak coming into the Nicholas Dalby fight. One submission, one decision, one KO.
Yeah.
So he was 13-1, then he lost to Dalby. So coming into Mike Perry, he had a pretty respectable record. He was coming in with 13-2.
Yeah.
And he'd won, to be honest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of his last 10.
That's pretty decent.
Very good.
That's pretty decent. Coming into a fight like that.
Yeah, was 9 of his last 10. So he's not definitely not a nobody.
No, but
not a big name.
No, but he's a big lad for welterweight.
He is a big lad for welterweight. He is. He had a 3-inch reach advantage.
Yeah.
What I will say is it's going to be hard to judge him off the back of this fight because, in my opinion, this was Mike Perry's worst performance by a country mile.
Yeah.
There was points of this fight where Mike Perry literally looked like an amateur fighter.
Yeah.
He was making some seriously crazy schoolboy errors. Did you see his kicks? Did you pay any attention to how he was kicking?
Yeah.
He was doing that really weird, that very strange habit that some fighters you will see it occasionally, not on top tier fighters. Some fighters have that very weird habit when they throw a kick, especially a low kick, they drop both their hands as they throw it.
I tell you what I'm going to say. I think this is a real lesson for that for me, Mike Perry's career, but in particular that fight, is a real lesson for all upcoming fighters who think they can do it on their own. You can't. You absolutely can't. The minute someone stops correcting you, the minute someone stops telling you what to do, the minute you become your own coach. And the other thing is, I'd say, on a side note, McGregor has fell to this to a certain extent, but if you've no one telling you, drilling you constantly, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. It doesn't matter what level you're at, you're going to fall, you're going to run short, you're going to come up short against whoever you're fighting.
If you've no one that's going to criticize you and say, look, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you need to get your head back in the game, you're moving the wrong way. If there's 100%. No one constantly criticizing you in the middle of a fight, you're not going to be able to make proper adjustments.
And I was going to say, actually, the kicks, and both of you have done, a bit of kickboxing. The kicks that he was throwing, if you think back to when you started kickboxing, that's the kind of stuff you were doing.
Oh yeah, you were doing that.
I'm not saying if anyone's going to jump on a cunt that's sitting here drinking stout and whiskey is complaining about professionality. I get it, but what I'm saying is, you fall into habits of sequence.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you have no one then correcting you, you go back to what was familiar and easy and comfortable, and you take the easy road.
Yeah.
Even the easy road is actually harder because you're getting your face punched in.
Yeah.
He looked a mile off, for me, a mile off UFC standard, a mile off top 15. He just, unless he's going to make wholesale changes to his mindset, his approach, his camp, he is done.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Perry, right? I think Perry is forgetting what brought him to the dance. I think he's trying to evolve too much from
on his own.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, he's trying to mix in takedowns and kicks and all. Whereas back when he first got in there, he was blasting lads with hooks,
overhand rights, left hooks.
That's what brought him to the dance. Like, do you know what I mean? And like you say, on his own, he's trying to learn all these takedowns and sloppy kicks, sloppy takedowns, shooting in from a bleeding mile out, and that's not his game.
No,
he's in there, and you know.
Yeah.
Individually, if you broke down a skill, if you walked into a gym with him and asked him to show you a takedown or a this or that, he'd be able to show you them 110%.
Yeah.
But being able to show someone and knowing the technique is very different from it being natural muscle memory.
Yeah.
Without needing a reaction, you've shot in on the legs, you've blocked this, you've done this. It's it at that level, if it's not so quick that you don't need to think, like, unless you're a complete specialist, if you're a genuine, and it sounds weird, but a genuine mixed martial artist. When I say that, I mean you're not a Stevie Boy Wonder or Brock Lesnar or someone with a particular specialty.
Yeah,
you have to drill that shit until it's one. Like, listen, Brock Lesnar, if you walked up to the street and threw something at Brock Lesnar from 20 yards away, he'd probably fucking shoot a double leg on it. You know what I mean? Stephen Thompson, he'd probably shoot out a head kick. They are specialists. If you're not an absolute pure specialist, you have to drill this shit until it's fucking second nature. And you're not going to do that if you're your own coach. You're just not.
It was I can't remember who I was watching. I think Cormier and Rogan were commentating over it, and they were saying, like, these lads can go, say striking's your thing. Well, then these lads can go and do wrestling 6 days a week for the next 7 or 8 years. Once you get to a certain age, you're never going to close that gap.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, like, you're never going to catch up on lads that have been doing it, that have that muscle twitch reaction.
Never.
What I noticed, especially, I'm just going to go back to it again, and I think it's okay for us to criticize it, because I think what it comes down to is there's a certain technique that's correct, right? Yeah. The technique in most styles of kickboxing for throwing kicks is that you always keep your hands up, because you're throwing a kick, you keep your hands up to protect your head against it's counters.
The other thing is, though, I would say you're correct in saying that, unless it's Thai boxing.
Yes, well, that's fair enough.
What I would say is, and I was thinking about this today when I was watching a fight I won't mention, but a pure boxing technique, a pure kickboxing technique, a pure jiu-jitsu technique, to a degree a pure wrestling technique, it's not fair to judge mixed martial arts off that.
No.
In the sense of, you can look at, when I'm looking at a fight and say his boxing was on point, I don't mean his boxing was on point from a technical boxing point of view.
Or from a mixed martial arts point of view.
From a mixed martial arts point of view, he was able to implement what he could take from his boxing training effectively in a mixed martial arts fight. But as you say, there are some things you just can't get away from.
Yeah.
You can't not have a guard.
No.
You can't throw naked kicks.
No.
Listen, an amazing Thai boxer, a fucking world-class Thai boxer goes in to a mixed martial arts fight. The mixed martial arts doesn't give a fuck how good a Thai boxer he is. If he throws a naked kick, he'll get taken down.
Yeah. We've seen it happen.
We've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Another thing is, as you know, like, you're in a fight, grand round one, wherever, you might get away with throwing them naked kicks or whatever, like. But as you get tired through the fight, your technique gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
The further you get, the worse your technique is going to get. So you'll end up paying for them in the second, third round. God forbid, fucking fourth and fifth round. Like, do you know what I mean?
But anyway, through that first round, Mike Perry was just making a comedy of errors, of mistakes, of that kind of ilk. He was walking forward into range with his hands down. He was throwing naked kicks.
Do you know
hands
what?
down.
He didn't get hold in the range at all, did he?
No, he never moved his head off the center line.
No.
He went for mad sloppy takedowns. Rodriguez,
and they were very sloppy.
What?
They were very sloppy.
Absolutely very sloppy.
Badly timed, badly executed.
I think Rodriguez then, from round 2, Rodriguez was like, well, this fella's offense is not worrying me at all.
Yeah.
And he decided to take the offense, and he had Perry on the back foot.
He had him hurt.
I remember thinking, and I made a note of it as well, I remember thinking halfway through round 2, I was sitting there looking at it, and I was going, it's almost like Mike Perry hasn't done any kicking, sparring in his last camps.
Or any actual, do you know what, any live training against someone that was going to put him under pressure.
You just for a second, imagine Mike Perry is in his camp right now, and you're his coach, and he goes, all right, Mike, you're going to be sparring fucking Jimmy over there. So the two of them go in, and Mike Perry walks out and starts throwing those kicks with his hands down. I'm assuming the first thing a coach says is, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. He doesn't have a coach anymore.
That's it.
That's the thing.
This is it. This is a massive problem.
And do you know what I was going to say, though? I think
someone watching you.
I think the problems go a little bit further. If you look at his record, so if we go back to September 2017, which is when we started the podcast, even though we've only had 7 episodes, if you go back to there, he was coming in. He fought on the night of Rockhold and Branch.
Yep.
He won by KO. That was a knee. That brought his record to 11-1. Since then, he's gone 3 for 7. 3 wins, 7 defeats. So in that, he suffered 2 decision losses. One was Santiago Ponzinibbio
and Paul Felder.
Max Griffin. He won a split decision to Felder. Lost submission, Don Cerrone. Won a decision against Alex Oliveira. Lost a split decision against Vicente Luque. Stopped by TKO and head kick and punches to Jeff Neal. Beats Mickey Cobb by unanimous decision, and then loses to Tim Means and Daniel Rodriguez by unanimous decision. Yeah. So he's lost 4 of his last 5 and 7 of his last 10.
And it's not just that he's lost 4 of his last 5; he has looked steadily worse.
Yes.
In each showing. I want to bring up one point, and that's, if you notice, I don't know whether anyone else noticed this, at the end of round 2, when he was on the stool, I don't know who that chap is in his corner.
Listen, it was. I know what you're going to say. Go on.
The bloke was in his corner, and Perry was on the stool, and there was, I don't know what he was saying to him, some bullshit, and he had to. He was telling Mike Perry's girlfriend how to wave the towel to cool him down, and she looked at him like she didn't know what he was talking about, and she stood there holding the towel. Now, I don't mean to be taking the piss out of that, but
no, I think, do you know what? I absolutely don't like criticising. Listen, everyone, all our 3 listeners are going to know we're criticising from fans' point of view, like, and the 3 of us, it's basically us 3. It's from a fan's point of view, we're criticising. We're not fucking pretending to be absolute experts. We're all following it a long time, but that's fucking amateur hour.
That's beyond amateur hour.
It's ridiculous.
If you think of it, I was actually just quickly rewatching the fights there earlier, and Jordan just jumped forward a couple of fights there. Sam Alvey was fighting, and there's a Cormier that said his wife is in his corner of all drawn through all his fights I've seen. His wife is always there, and the lads actually said that she's his main corner person.
Yeah.
And they were saying our fight IQ is
off the charts.
Yeah,
apparently. Yeah, like, she's a model.
Yeah, she was.
So her
Yeah.
fight IQ apparently is top level.
But if you
Can't hold a towel.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yep.
if you think it is, if you're right, I'm just thinking from my experience, right? I'm gonna go back to my old kickboxing club, and like Felipe is a kickboxing coach. He must be in his 80s, and he's still in the corner and he's still training. So I go back to him, and I'm training away for a couple of months, and he says, "Right, Mark, you have a bit of a listen. As if I'm gonna be fighting nowadays, big fat cunt, but we have a bit of a fight for you. Grand. Me missus is gonna be in the corner. Is that all right?" And I'm talking like an amateur nonsense white collar bullshit that means nothing to anyone. Of some fat bloke in his mid-30s just tried to lose a bit of weight. The UFC, he's turned up with his missus who knows fucking zero about mixed martial arts.
Like, this
Doesn't know how to wave a fucking towel at him.
Yeah, this is Premier League shit. And
This is it's as Khabib say, number one bullshit.
yeah.
That's exactly
Like,
what it is.
if you want to push it that bit further, it's actually dangerous.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you.
Yeah,
100% agree with you.
Say if he goes into round one, right, and he's getting a little bad,
Yeah.
and then he goes back to his corner. If you have someone who knows what they're talking about in the corner saying, like, look, you need to do this, you need to do that.
Yeah.
But he has let's face it, he has a dolly board in his corner going like this with a fucking towel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Hold ice on it.
And just before any fucking feminists jump on, a female fighter who turns to her husband going, he's going to be in my corner. Exact
same.
Exact same. Unless you know what you're doing, sit the fuck down.
You've no business being in anyone's corner.
Yeah.
No business.
So anyway, it was unanimous.
His career is fucking over unless he really makes massive changes. And I think it's madness if they book him for another fight without knowing previously that he's gone into a proper camp. He's got himself some proper coaches who are going to really take hold of things, because it's nonsense.
Yeah.
The scores for that were 30-27, 30-27, 30-26.
Yeah.
I had a 30-26 all round.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
It was unanimous as it gets. And on the back of that,
it's hard to judge that Joan Rodriguez, really, isn't it? Because, as you said,
that's what I've said.
Very hard. Like,
it's impossible to judge him off the back of that fight.
Like, what they do with him in the sense of he did everything that he should have, but he fought someone who realistically looked like dog shit.
Bizarrely, it puts Rodriguez in a strange position where he's just going to need another fight now, another welterweight fight.
He's actually come out and said he wants to fight Robbie Lawler, which is a fight I'd like to see. That's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was going to see Lawler, so
a unanimous decision win for Rodriguez off the back of a very strange matchup, or just a very strange performance from Perry. Yeah. The next fight was the women's strawweight division was Nina Nunes, no relation to Amanda, versus Mackenzie Dern.
You say no relation.
Ranked 5.
When you say no relation, do you not mean wife?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
She's ranked 5, and Dern was ranked 11 at the time of that fight.
What, a year and a half, 2 years or something?
I'll tell you right now. So, it's a strange ranking. I think it does show how shallow to some degree that division is, because her last fight was June 2018 and she lost 2019.
Yeah.
June 2019 and she lost the decision. And she's been able to hang on to a number 5 ranking until 2021.
Against who, Mark?
Tatiana Suarez. I think she might have been tough. She was from tough. She's 9-0. She's the one that was like she's a solid wrestler, solid grappler. World Championship bronze medal in 2 separate World Championships. World Jiu-Jitsu gold medalist in California in 2013 and 2015 in the blue and white belt division. A very, very solid grappler. She has 4 submissions, 2 knockouts. She's undefeated, but she hasn't fought since 2019.
Yeah.
So I think it shows a depth of a division that someone can hang on to a top 5 when they haven't fought in basically as good as 2 years.
Nearly 2 years. On saying that, it was a decent enough fight for how long it lasted.
Yeah.
What I will say is I have to applaud Mackenzie Dern on how calm and patient she was.
Yeah, well, they're saying now, like, I think Dern is that good with jiu-jitsu that she's kind of not moved on away from it, like, but she can concentrate on her striking now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And since she's gotten into the UFC, you've seen her come leaps and bounds with the striking, like, which isn't really a good thing because she might run into someone that'll catch her.
Well, we talked about this last time when we were talking about the likes of Frank Mir, where they end up getting a little bit of success. Because they're so fresh to striking and it's such a brand new template to them. And then they run into someone who's...
In saying that, Mir would stick with the stand-up.
Yeah.
Where Darren's saying...
to use it to work towards the takedowns.
Yeah. And look what happened. An armbar, I think, wasn't it?
When she gets you on the ground...
It's game over.
It's unreal, man.
All sorts of shit, aren't you?
I don't think...
In top control, looked absolutely just powerful, like, just so
and very fluid as well.
I don't think anyone in that division, including all the other black belts, I don't think anyone can live with her on the ground.
No, I don't think anybody wants to go on the ground with her. Absolutely.
What I will say is that when her striking, it's aggressive, it's wild, but there's massive gaps there. And I hope her coaches aren't convincing her, like Ronda Rousey's, like Brock Lesnar's, like others down the road, that she's a striker.
No.
She fucking isn't. Listen, she's aggressive, she's strong, she's robust.
But she's massive holes in her technique.
Her technique is not good. Now, that doesn't mean she can't be effective, because some people talk about the technique is this, technique is that. Listen, it doesn't have to be beautiful. Is it effective? No. She can be relatively effective, but I think to get away from the massive hole in skills that she has between her striking and her grappling is not necessary for her to be successful.
No, it's
what
not.
She needs to learn is to blend them.
Yeah.
And that's what she needs to learn.
She's doing a good job at doing that. Yeah. She was throwing heavy hands, she was closing the distance, and she was getting to the clinch where she wanted to be.
What I'd say to you is, you're dead right, except if you go back. What's that?
Yeah.
Her striking is coming along. Like,
it is. What worries me about her striking is, if you go back and look at it, listen, she's very athletic, she's very strong. As I said, she's robust and hardy, kind of.
Yeah.
But if you go back and look at it, there's a lot of looking at the ground as punches are going. There's a lot of head down as the punches are being thrown.
Yeah.
The head movement is very rudimentary, which is fine if you're. When I say it's fine, it's not fine, but it's excusable if you're always working for the takedown.
Yeah, of course.
Your standard technique of up here and I'm moving is changed because you're looking for a dip, or you're looking for a clinch, or you're looking for an arm, or some kind of way.
And if you notice in that fight, she got caught with a couple of counters.
Yes.
While she was doing that very thing.
Nina isn't a great striker.
No, she wouldn't have been a great striker.
Black belt, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
she's not a knockout artist.
No.
She's not no Amanda Nunes, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's not taking heads off, like.
No. But listen, I think if they really concentrate on, because the problem is that division is very, very light, is she's now ranked 5th. And I think if I'm right in saying the champ there, I mean, if you look at her grappling record, it's absolutely outrageous.
Yeah.
It's fucking, lads.
Who's there?
Denzi McKern, right? ADCC World Championship 2015.
Denzi McKern.
Denzi McKern. Sorry.
Denzi McKern again.
2015.
I think Mark's having a stroke.
Stout stroke. 2015 ADCC World Championship gold. WCC North American Championship 2012 gold. World Jiu-Jitsu Championship. She has a bronze, gold, bronze, gold, bronze. That's between 2014 and 2016 in different categories. Nogi, gold, silver, silver, gold, different categories. The Pan Jiu-Jitsu, again, silver, bronze, gold, silver, gold, bronze. It's ridiculous. Like European, 3 golds in Europeans, 2 golds in Brazilian national. Asian, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 golds in the Asian. World Cup, 3 gold. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, kind of.
I fucking would hate one for to get pushed into because the champion is the Chinese girl
Zhang
Weili. A different ball game,
Yeah.
and I would hate for her to get convinced she is an amazing striker when she's clearly not. And I would really like to see her get 3 fights before she gets a champion title, but she's ranked 5th already.
And it's already a very, very shallow division.
Very shallow.
If we're going to be speaking honestly,
whoever the head for is pretty much lined up to fight. Rose is lined up to fight.
Yeah.
For the title, as we know, coming up.
Yeah.
Andrade is fighting. Who's Andrade fighting? She fighting Shevchenko.
No, Shevchenko's at 125.
Who's ahead of her then? Who's ahead of number 5?
I'll tell you now.
That's a good question.
Thanks.
You come up with one every now and again. But like, I think it's easy enough to say though. On the ground, she's just.
She's unstoppable.
Jesus, like it's just so smooth, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So smooth, so easy. And the other thing, I think.
Joanna. Joanna's ranked 2.
Yes. So top 5 is Rose, Joanna, and then there's a Yan Jianon. I think she's another Asian girl.
Yeah.
Carla Esparza, and then Mackenzie Dern.
I'm not sure about Carla Esparza in that lineup.
Yeah, I mean Nina Nunes is 7.
The problem with Carla Esparza is she's a wrestler.
Yeah,
she's done nothing but wrestling. So does she take Mackenzie Dern down? Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't even count her in there.
No,
that's a weird one that she's in there. Although, like
a couple of good fights last time out.
Yeah, she's like
Carla
on a winning 4-fight winning streak.
4 is it? I thought
yeah, all decisions.
Yeah,
all decisions. And listen, I just think if you're. I would say against. Listen, we don't want to be fucking rambling on, but I'd say against like Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern now, I can really go to town with me striking. If she takes me down, fine.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Carla really hurting her on the feet. She might outstrike her, but hurting her.
No, I don't think so. I don't rate Carla Esparza's stand up at all.
No. So she goes to the ground, she go for a takedown or a clinch, and I think we all know how that goes.
Yeah, I think the minute it gets to the clinch, I'm seeing Mackenzie Dern ragdolling her to the ground and then it being curtains fairly swiftly after that.
Absolutely.
Anyway, it was a beautiful armbar. It was a really textbook, beautiful armbar, highlight reel.
It was coming from a mile away.
It was.
I'm saying I thought it was coming, but she worked on it.
You're right, yeah.
Working. You're like, the countdown was on. This is coming.
It wasn't telegraphed, but the minute it was getting there, you could see it going, oh, it's happening now, it's happening now. And then
I think as viewers, you
see as well, as soon as she straightened that arm out, as soon as she broke that grip, Nunes was tapping to that.
Yeah.
So it must be an absolutely unreal crank she has on that.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about
it. That's our technique is fucking. And do you know what I was going to say? The other thing is, it's clear to see she got her weight under control because she missed a couple of weigh-ins.
Yeah.
You can see her physique has actually changed. She's leaner.
Dietitian or anything like that?
I don't know, but I think it was more a case of she started to take it more seriously.
I think she changed camps.
She did change camp, actually, yeah.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
There was her husband actually got in a fight with one of the trainers at her old camps
Okay, yeah.
That's right, actually, yeah.
because of that.
Could have been the best thing that happened to her.
You know what I mean? People just keeping an eye on her a bit better, or
Yeah.
better, whatever that is. Like, do you know what I mean? But because she was weight £5 for a fight, didn't she?
That's right.
Yeah.
But either way, I think the top 5 better make room for someone else.
Yeah.
Be interesting. I'd like to see her shake up the top 5, honestly. I think she could blow the dust off a couple of fighters in the top 5.
Yeah.
The next fight was middleweight.
Yep.
We were just mentioning there earlier, John. Smiling San Alvi against Julian Marquez. Alvi had a 3.5-inch reach advantage coming into this fight. Now, Alvi, as any of us know, Alvi is one of the most awkward stand-up fighters you can imagine. He's a bizarre style. He lures you in with his kind of awkward kind of I can't even call it jab work. It's just I don't know what it is.
Describe it. He's it's weird.
I think he loosely falls into the category of being a counter striker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because he's willing for you to come in and throw something and hit you with something, but he's very awkward to. I'd hate to have to try and study him, and you know the way some strikers obviously study their opponents and try and figure out their tells or their particular little habits. He's just so awkward.
Yeah.
And
he has a chin on him as well.
Huh?
He has a chin on him.
He does, in fairness. He has a solid chin. It's not, like we said before, it's not always a good thing to have, but he has it. Now, we had a 3.5-inch reach advantage, but Marquez did very well to kind of mitigate that by using lots of feints from the get-go to kind of push Alvi. Huh?
Head movement as well.
Very good head movement. Very good all over kind of.
He was slipping back out, you know. Which, I think your man Marquez is he's one to watch there. He's
He landed. What he did was he landed a lot of. He threw a lot of feints, landed a lot of nice shots, and forced. I don't know why Sam Alves was doing this. Alves was loading up on every shot he threw. So every shot he threw was landing 2 seconds too late.
Yeah.
You could see it. He was like getting hit and then bringing his arm back and throwing it. And like your man Marquez was fucking well out of range before.
He was head hunting.
Yeah.
Simple.
His footwork was a little bit heavy as well.
I think he would also say
clean shot.
That Alvi's been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's had 50 fights. However,
he's gone up and down in weight.
Lads, he hasn't won a fight. He hasn't won a fight since June 2018, and that was a split decision win against Jan Vellante.
Don't get me started.
Since stopped. He was stopped twice by punches. He lost 2 decisions. He had a split draw, and he's been submitted.
Yeah.
I've actually always liked him. I think it's curtains for him in the UFC.
Well, what did you think of the finish?
The finish.
It was a good finish.
It was a good finish. It was a strange finish.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like a choke that you would see in the schoolyard.
Yeah,
it's a very childish.
It's like a choke you would see on a sitcom.
Now, don't get me wrong, it worked. And he put him out.
Yeah, but it shouldn't.
Lads, it's the same choke. I'm going to double check this, but it's the same choke that Matt Hughes. I'm pretty sure he won by in maybe his last fight or second last fight.
Against who?
Or he lost to it. It's basically a bulldog choke.
Yeah, that's what it was called. Yeah, bulldog choke.
Ricardo made it. They had it down as an anaconda choke. It wasn't. It was a bulldog choke.
Yeah.
And it's the same as that one.
It just looks weird. It's very strange. You just don't see it that often.
It looked like Alvi could have spun out of it.
Yeah, because
I'm no expert. I could be 100% wrong, but his arms and legs weren't tied up.
Exactly, and like there was no your opponent
Like,
doesn't have his legs wrapped around you or anything.
To me, it looked like a good scramble would have got him
Yeah.
out of there. But
Yeah.
then again, hurt bad. He was
He
hurt
was
bad.
hurt bad. That
He
he had taken a lot of ground a pound at that stage as well.
Yeah.
But Marquez looked good. I think
Yeah.
throughout the whole fight, he looked good.
He looked sharp.
He did.
Alvi is a difficult one to finish well against because he seems to drag people into this kind of sloppy, mucky dogfight,
Yeah.
and he makes it difficult for you to look really good against him.
The other thing is, I temper that with is that he hasn't won a fight in 3 years. And if you're trying to build your name, you're trying to get into that top 15. If you're not beating a fella who's coming off 5 losses,
Yeah,
it's hard. Like it's nearly like lose from.
Yeah.
Anyone that looks deep at it go, yeah, he looked good.
yeah.
But wait a second, let's have a look here.
Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't won a fight in 3 years. Oh, okay.
The thing is, though, Alvi can knock you out with one shot.
He can.
Yeah.
Before, you know what I mean?
He does have a bit of a concrete mallet as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does have a bit of a concrete mallet.
Yeah, he is a dangerous lad to go against.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think.
I think that's the end of the road from the UFC.
I think so as well. I mean,
anyway.
we're in an era now where the UFC are dropping fighters left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And while he seems like a genuinely nice bloke, and he's always game for a fight. He seems to be from the same sort of mindset of the likes of Cowboy Cerrone. You know, he'd take a fight on a minute's notice, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that era of fighter, we're starting to move away from that kind of, aren't we?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much room in your career to be saying yes to every single fight that turns up.
No.
It doesn't make any sense.
How old is Alvi?
He must be in his mid-30s.
I'll tell you now. I think he's actually 30. I think he's 30.
28.
Yeah, 34. He's actually only that was 34. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next fight was the featherweight fight and the what some people were considering the long-awaited debut of Arnold Allen, who was already. Now imagine this: you haven't fought in the UFC. I know. Maybe he has one fight in the UFC. Did he? Am I totally getting that wrong?
Yeah, totally getting wrong. That was his eighth fight.
8.
Am I thinking of someone else?
Yeah.
Must be. He's always on the undercards.
Yes, and Sadiq Youssef. What was his last fight before this one?
His last fight was Andre Philly.
Philly, that's it. Yes.
So he had a decision win on the Contender Series, followed by 4 wins in the UFC before this loss.
Okay, yeah.
Arnold Allen looked fucking great in that fight.
He his general all round movement, his foot movement was.
Now he did tire out in the late second, early third round. He tired out. You could see him slowing down and all, but everyone was the general consensus. I think what I got was that Youssef was the knockout lad there, and it was going to happen on his side of the pond. Like, you know what I mean? He was going to get the W, but Aaron Allen took him out. I think he dropped him two or three times.
He dropped him in the first round with a savage left.
Yeah.
And then he just stood there and called him back to his feet.
Yeah.
I don't think he wanted that to do with the ground game.
No.
Why wouldn't he?
I don't know. I don't know what the story was there. He just seemed to immediately he knocked him down and he just stood there and let him back to his feet. Maybe it was part of his
do after you knock someone down, no?
Yeah. But his Arnold Allen's, that's a real awkward name to say. His footwork was lovely.
Yeah, his movement is fucking.
He was staying off target. He was. I think he was forcing for a lot of the fight. He was forcing Youssef to chase him. Like Youssef was doing a lot of forward movement. Yeah, I think that was starting to wear him out.
A good bit of muscle. Maybe he was trying to tire him out.
Yeah. So.
I'd be interested to see Arnold Allen kicking on into the top echelons, see how he handles the next level.
Neither are ranked.
Not at that.
Arnold Allen
was 10 and Youssef was 11.
He's
Oh,
8.
really? Yeah.
He's 8 now.
I think he needs someone at around the 5 mark.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
Tell you now. So, featherweight. So he's 8. Directly ahead of him is Josh Emmett, Calvin Kattar, Chan Sung Jung, Yair Rodriguez, Mag Omed Sharapov, Brian Ortega, Max Holloway, and Volkanovski. Do you know what? I know I don't, just one directly ahead of him off, but I would actually like to see him and Josh Emmett. I think that'd be
I really like Josh Emmett. I really like Josh Emmett.
serious fight that would.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Or the Korean Zombie. Either of those two now would be.
The Korean Zombie would be weird because I think he would have a seriously hard job of forcing the Zombie to chase him.
Oh yeah, Zombie ain't going to chase him.
I don't think the Zombie's going to chase you.
Would that be really interesting then, wouldn't it?
Because the Korean Zombie tends to just go at his own speed and you deal with it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see who they give him next anyway.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, the main event, the one that cost John Ladd a bit of money.
Bastard.
Yeah. So, Kevin Holland, who fought, 3 weeks before this?
Yeah.
Ranked 10 against up-and-coming Marvin Vettori, ranked
I
6.
I wouldn't even say up-and-coming because...
No, I wouldn't say up-and-coming, but he's definitely, he's making more waves now than he was before.
Yeah. Ranked 3 now.
Yeah, ranked 3 now.
What I'd say is I would have gone with John Boy until I rewatched Vettori's fight with what's the fella's name? Jack Hermanson. I rewatched that fight and I just went, wait a second. He has a fucking smothering top game.
Yeah.
He sets, the way some fighters out there that set like a really, really fast pace.
Yeah.
He sets a pace about 10% below that, but it never drops.
Yeah, and it's a heavy kind of...
It's fast. It's not super fast, but it's fast. But he literally never drops his output.
Yeah.
Never.
Another thing is, he gets a hold of you, and that lad is solid, man. He's like a bleeding Trojan.
Yeah.
He's, you know what I mean?
It's a very solid close-up game that he plays.
I mean, I don't know a whole point about wrestling. I assume technically he's not amazing, but he's certainly effective, and he knows how to exert his strength. He knows, like if you look at it, when he gets the double underhooks, or he gets a hold of something, you're going to end up on your back.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it reminded me of the Adesanya and Blankowitz fight.
And to a degree, yeah.
Yeah, where the
Adesanya took him down and didn't do a lot on the ground, but held him down and controlled him and just fucking smothered out the victory, I suppose.
I'd say Vettori was definitely more active than Blachowicz. He wasn't he?
He was more aggressive,
and he's more aggressive. And do you know what? Like his stand up, like he's a good kickboxer. Like his stand up is good. He doesn't land flush a lot. He doesn't hurt people to the point of knocking them down or really hurting them a lot. But he's constantly there. He's constantly throwing shots. And just as you're trying to defend the shots, he's grabbing a hold of you. When you're trying to fight that off, he's throwing shots. He's just grindingly effective.
Yeah. He fights like that against Adesanya again, you'll take the title.
You would, yeah, that's a fact. And I'd say this, the other thing is, Holland, I think he's been badly exposed in the wrestling department now twice.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing is, I don't think he's physically strong enough now to hang with the top 5.
Who?
Yeah.
Holland.
Oh, no, he's not.
Like people, like people say, strength doesn't matter. Yes, it does.
It does.
It absolutely does. And effective strength really matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that when it comes to trying to defend takedowns and try to muscle people off and get low...
Yeah, Holland doesn't have that sort of strength. No, he
really doesn't. And listen, if you're a striker, a very, very good technical striker, and you don't have that in the UFC, listen, someone Brunson laid it out. Don't try and outstrike him. Just take the cunt down.
Yeah. And I mean, there was a pretty hefty difference between. I mean, round one, Holland was able to defend the takedown.
Yeah.
But that seemed to be it. And
you know what? It almost seemed like Vettori knew that.
I think he did. I don't think there was any doubt there for Vettori. But when Vettori got him, took him down, then there was points where Holland was kind of able to get back up to his feet against the cage. But Vettori just stuck to him.
Yeah.
And just kind of ragdoll him back down. Just kind of dragged him back into the deep water. And lay heavy on him. Awkward position. Landed ground and pound. Kind of stuck to his back. I mean, there was very little. Kevin Holland was surviving, as opposed to putting up any sort of coherent defense.
Yeah.
I think Holland is running the risk of ruining his own career by not investing in it, and by also not taking it seriously enough that this isn't kickboxing. You're not a boxer. You're not in a street fight.
Yeah.
That bullshit is all gone.
Yeah.
Can you hang at the top level? And if you're going to hang at the top level, you better be ready for everything.
Yeah.
I think it was a mistake for him to take that fight.
I think so.
100%.
I think so. Yeah.
Weeks after getting, I'm going to say dominated by a stronger wrestler, taken down. It's the exact way he lost a Vettori fight.
Yeah.
So if you're Vettori 3 weeks after fucking seeing that performance, what are you going to do?
Vettori was better than Brunson.
But he was.
Vettori was better than Brunson.
Yeah, it was.
Like, to me, that was a 50-45, 50-46.
Yeah.
Because there was 2 or 3 rounds there, and I don't like giving 10-8s when there's no. But there's 2 or 3 rounds there. Holland had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And that to me is a 10-8.
Even the rounds where Holland had something, as in even the rounds where Holland might have landed a couple of strikes. I mean, I think it was round 4 where Holland might have come out a little bit busier. Maybe he was kind of aware that he was 3 rounds under.
Or a bit of a...
Yeah. He came out and he threw a lot of low leg strikes. But the minute he started, Vettori shut him down, takedown. Just shut him straight down.
He catch Vettori with something either 3rd or 4th round. Maybe even the 5th. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But he caught him with something. And I was like, oh.
Possibly the 4th or 5th round, yeah.
Vettori just took it.
Yeah.
He wobbled a bit.
Lads,
it was round 5. It was round 5. He hit him with a right and he wobbled him a little bit.
Yeah.
Vettori has some fucking chin in there, that cunt.
He does, man. He took some good shots on that fight.
He's durable. He's hard. Do you know what? If he won the title, he'd probably be the most unpopular champion in history because he's not a finisher. He's a high-paced. This sounds like an oxymoron. He's a high-paced plotter.
Yeah.
You know that kind of way.
Yeah.
Goes forward. He's aggressive. He throws a lot. Doesn't rarely hurts people. He gets the takedowns, but they're not those massive, big double legs.
Yeah.
He's massive and he's massively heavy in top position. Rarely gets submissions, but he sets a pace that not a lot of people can maintain for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
He's able to impose his game plan on top of people who are better at various aspects of fighting than he is, and he gets the fucking win.
What rank is he at now?
A 3.
Who's ahead of him now?
Tell you now.
I'd be interested to see who he's going to be matched up at next.
So at middleweight, we have. Oh, sorry. So he's 3. Paulo Costa is ahead of him, and Robert Whittaker is ahead of him.
Who has Paulo Costa fought in the last? Who was his last 2 fights?
Adesanya.
He lost Adesanya, and before that, he beat Yoel Romero.
He lost badly to Adesanya.
He did.
He looked like shit, yeah.
Do we reckon we're seeing Vettori Costa?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that could be an interesting matchup.
That could be, yeah.
Could be Costa Whittaker.
It could be. Bizarrely, I think I don't know why.
I'm not going to ruin anyone's.
I'm seeing Vettori cause problems.
I seen the fights last night.
You did?
What?
But I think Costa,
It's just made
Costa,
over,
You just ignored everything we said. What did
Yeah.
you just say, you mutant?
Costa Vettori is a cracking fight,
Yes.
but Vettori would, with his style, would have to be very, very careful for the first round and a half. Very
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah.
Because Costa couldn't live with his pace for that 8-9 minutes. And then after that, like, I think Vettori wants that 5-rounder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to main event that fight. And he'll give away the first round, and he might even give away the second round, and then I think he has it easy after that.
Yeah. I see for some reason Vettori being a nightmare for Whitaker.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
He just seems to
I
have
think
that.
as John says, I think he gets that rematch against Adesanya, and I think Adesanya is thinking this is going to be a similar fight to the last one, but a lot worse in the sense of
Absolutely.
Vettori has shored up the problems he has, and do you know what? I think Vettori knows now where his strengths are.
Yeah.
His strengths aren't being the best striker, being the best wrestler, being the best anything. His strength is he can do all of that at a very good level, at a very good pace for every minute of every round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a nightmare for a lot of people. And I think, as John Boy said, I think that's a nightmare for Adesanya.
Looking at that fight last week, I think Vettori is a problem for all them three boys.
So do I.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit of a killer's row kind of queuing up behind Adesanya now at this stage, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It will depend. I think what will be interesting will be to see how Adesanya bounces back to middleweight.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a case of steel sharpened steel after the Jan Blachowicz fight, or
well, I think the mistake he made in going up and not putting on weight will be a positive for him coming down, because he doesn't have to shed any weight.
Yeah.
He basically went into the Blachowicz fight as a middleweight without a weight cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's one good positive, that it's not going to be a big, massive ordeal to get his body back to a middleweight frame. He didn't leave his middleweight frame.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think I think with his mindset he'll come back and he'll be fresh and ready to go.
Yeah.
He's a winning mindset, and he's one of those bulletproof mindsets. I'd say in reality he seems like someone, although I don't really like his personality, I'd say he has that thing of being dealt with all the time, because he's a bit of a mouth and he's a bit of a show off. I think he's bulletproof in his mind. He'll come back to middleweight, and that loss is gone already from his mind.
Yeah,
he took what lessons he needs to take from it. Whether he's made the adjustments or not, in his mind he's made the adjustments, and he won't fall into that trap again. In his mind, whether he will physically or not is another thing, but I think mentally he'll come back to middleweight and he'll be ready to go again.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see where the landscape of the top 5 now juggles around with his return.
Yeah.
Let me bring something up there before we head off. You said you seen the fights last night, Mark.
Yeah.
Paul, did you say anything about the fights last night?
Nothing yet.
It's not about a fight, because the fight didn't happen. But
did you hear this shit?
Mark Closer and Jeremy Stevens. So they were having a last face-off, whatever happened. And they were close. Now, I didn't see the full lot, Mark. I don't know if you did or not.
I did, yeah.
Closer seemed very calm to me. He wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
Jeremy Stevens pushed him.
Yeah.
He got my gut bleeding shove, like.
He did, yeah.
For nothing, like.
It was weird.
And apparently Closer got backstage and started having some complications. And the fight ended up being called off. Mark, did you read what happened to him?
Yeah, there was apparently...
I had a screenshot of the thing, but it's on my phone there.
Whiplash and concussion symptoms.
Yeah, from the push.
What?
From the push.
Now, in my opinion, Stevens needs to be punished for that.
Has to be.
Absolutely.
Has to be. And the other thing is,
look at it, Paul, when you jump off this.
Okay.
It's that old bleeding push you give him, like.
And the
Bizarre.
other thing is that I think, like, anyone that might be listening could be thinking, sure, for fuck's sake, it was only a push. Absolutely. The other thing is, he's a professional athlete. This is his fucking job.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if your man wasn't injured at all. Let's say Close decided to be a cunt and say, my neck is at me, that's that done.
Yeah.
He's immediately liable. Like, it looks horrendous, it's stupid, it's juvenile. It's not a playground.
It's not as if they were jarring back and forth or anything.
No, nothing.
You know what I mean? Now, come here. At the weigh-ins, like, I'm all for getting in each other's faces and
Absolutely.
all this crack, like.
Yeah.
But it was basically assault.
Yes.
Sir.
And if you look at it, Close had his hands behind his back.
Did he fall?
Yes.
No.
No.
We went back a couple of feet, like.
Oh, he did. It was a proper.
What we got, like.
Yeah, it was a proper aggressive
Yeah.
push. It wasn't like a bit of that. It was a fucking real push.
Hand on the chest and
Yeah.
now, and as Jeremy Stevens says, he's able to knock people dead. He creams fellas out, so he's a strong lad. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With their hands behind their back, put two hands on their chest and shove them.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say violently, like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bang it over border, like.
And if
And
you're
has
not
there anything
expecting
done
it,
about it?
you're standing like that. And you're not expecting it. You're getting beaten back.
Yes.
You know?
I haven't heard of hands being done about it, but absolutely 100% or something should be done.
I'd be shocked now if he wasn't sanctioned.
That's insane. I'd be interested to see now what the fallout is from that. That's someone's livelihood.
And don't get me wrong, I love seeing Jeremy Stevens fight. I think he's a bleeding savage, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any place for that.
No, it's nonsense. That kind of stuff.
We're gone beyond that bullshit.
And closer to, there might be a bit of something here, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hang on, like, have me hands behind me back, like.
Yeah.
Absolute bullshit, man.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And I think that we're gone beyond that now at this stage.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's not the little leagues. It's not two lads mouthing off each other or weighing in a car park. It
never looks good.
And I'll say this. One of the lads used to laugh and say, if a fight of any type pops up, I'll sit and watch it. If it's two 7-year-olds throwing digs, I'll watch it. I will watch any fight. But when I'm watching a street fight, that's what I'm watching. When I'm watching two athletes weighing in, I have no fucking interest in them going at each other. Weigh in and do the business.
Yeah.
We're not in a playground.
Yeah.
We're not fucking on Collins Street. You bumped into me.
Yeah.
Listen, we're watching the UFC here. This isn't the little leagues. It's as you say. I personally, and I will watch anyone throw a punch at anyone.
Yeah.
Happily. I'll sit with a pint, delighted watching it. We're not watching that. That's not what we're tuning in for. We're tuning in to watch two top level fighters. Two of literally the top 1% of people in the world fighting each other.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. I don't want to see is fucking pushing each other at fucking weigh-ins.
Yeah.
Come on.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
He's going to get sanctioned and he deserves it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know?
Mm.
Anyway,
it's
I'm
weird.
going to empty these two bad boys into me.
Fair enough.
I'm going to get rightly fucked up.
Good
And if
man.
anyone didn't notice, I've been pretty well on the entire
Oh, I
time.
think everyone noticed.
Yeah, everyone knows.
I don't think there's
Winning.
don't think there's anyone that didn't notice.
Huh?
What time you work in the morning?
Oh, I'm off, baby.
Like,
Oh, yes. At the fire on inside, I'm going to sit and get well and truly off my face.
you enjoy yourself, kid.
Oh, you can't believe it.
Enjoy yourself, you big, horrible, horrible mutant.
Fucking yeah. I'll go in and beat the shit out of Stephen because he's a prick. My face. Winning.
All right, dudes. Talk to you next time, right?
All right. Peace out. Go and fuck yourselves.
See you
Winning.
later. Peace.